Hey everybody, I'm Madalyn Sklar, host of the Social ROI Chat. We had a wonderful one today because we had an awesome guest. Please welcome Nicky Kriel. Hey Nicky.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me to be a guest on your show. Well, on your show.
Absolutely. I think you are awesome when it comes to Twitter. We both have spoken at Social Media Marketing World when it comes to Twitter. Yeah, I just thought you would be so great to have on the chat. So it was wonderful having you today. You shared a lot of great stuff.
Well, thank you. It was quite interesting. It was so nice to have actually written blog articles, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to just share a few links during the conversation because it covers a lot more depth than you can in a tweet, obviously. But
Yeah, that was a smart idea. I like that you shared some links to your articles and I even took what I don't know how, because we were just talking before we went live here about, that is challenging doing these Twitter chats because they move at lightning speed.
yeah,
And I even managed during the chat to take one of your articles you posted and like put it into my buffer queue. So it'll probably go
wow,
out tomorrow or the next day. But I was like, this is a good article. I want to like share this later because I'm like retweeting during the chat, but I
yeah.
actually wanted to share your article at a later time because it's such a good article. So yeah, so you'll see that probably in a day or so. You'll see you'll see my tweet. So just know that when you see, because I always tag when I do stuff like
Yeah.
that. So when you see the tag of that tweet, just know I was doing that in the hecticness of the social ROI chat.
Okay, I'm even more impressed with you that you can even think of doing that. I know what I want to do is after the chat is just go back. There were some great answers to the
Yes.
questions and just look at all the answers because there's great content in there. I know you do a nice little summary of it, don't you? Or
Yeah, the team puts together a nice recap over on the Managed Flitter blog, so we'll have that available later this week. So yeah, we have a great community, so there are a lot of people responding with great answers as well. But we're going to highlight you in this live stream. So before we dive into some of these questions, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
well, my name's Nicky Kriel. I'm an author of two books now. Third one, like bubbling underneath at the moment. I've been doing social media marketing for 8 years. So I've just had my 8 year anniversary of my business, helping predominantly small businesses to get clarity about social media because there's a lot of confusion about it. And once you have a strategy and a plan, it becomes so much easier to get better results.
Definitely, for sure. Um, all right. So our topic today on the chat is connect, converse, and convert on Twitter. Tips for businesses. You are just so perfect for this. I love this topic. Um, let's start with question number one. First impressions are key. How can business owners make sure their Twitter bio is attractive to their ideal customers?
Okay, I think on Twitter things move so rapidly. Your first impression may be the only impression you get because somebody might look at your profile once, and if they don't decide to follow you, they may never see you again. So first impressions really count. So you want to make sure your Twitter profile is attracting the right people and not repelling people for any reason whatever. So some of the things that would repel people are things like grammatical errors, typos, um, too many hashtags in bios, and I see it so often. And what's scary is social media experts who are putting all these hashtags in. And I'm thinking, if if people see this and think this is what you're supposed to do, the thing is, it's going to put people
Right.
off because hashtags scare people. People are scared of hashtags. I know they can be really useful, but I still get so many people who nervous about using hashtags. But obviously, you want to attract the right people, so it's really important to have your keywords. And so many people don't have their keywords in their Twitter bio. And your Twitter bio is searchable on Google, so you really want to be known for the right thing and you want to be found for the right thing. And people are searching on Twitter as well.
Right. I totally agree with you with this whole hashtag thing. I don't understand why so many people have like every word as a hashtag in their bio. It's like, who told them to do that? You know?
There's somebody out there who's spreading the word, and then people see that and then
Yeah. I mean, somebody is giving out bad information, just like who told people it was okay to do auto DMs? That was such bad advice. But,
I've sat on a panel discussion where somebody asked the question at how do you do the automated DMs, and every single person in the panel said do not do it. But their boss wants them to do it. They will find a way to do it,
yeah.
despite what any of us have said. Yeah.
Yeah, bad advice for sure doing that. But yeah, I'm big with hashtags when you like want to brand it, because when you put hashtags in your bio that are very generic, you're basically telling people click on this and it's going to take you elsewhere.
Mhm.
And so unless it's something that's really branded for what you're doing, like when you look at my bio, it's going to have Twitter Smarter because I branded it as an online course, as a Twitter chat, and as a podcast. So I'm big with branding hashtags. And then of course I have social ROI in there for this particular chat. But I don't want to put a hashtag in just to put a hashtag in. So, we get 160 characters in our bio. What are ways people can really stand out? And, let's just take hashtags out of the picture here. Because you're making some great comments about this. That first impression is so incredibly important. But 160 characters, that's actually quite a bit of space, right?
Well, if you're used to Twitter, yes. If you're not, then no.
That's what I mean. I mean, like if you're used to Twitter.
I know. I think another way that people get put off is that they've launched. It feels like a sales pitch when people land on their bio. So often I haven't followed people because I think, oh, they're going to spam me. They're going to just put loads of links and try and sell to me. As soon as I follow them, I'll get that automated DM with a link to something that they want me to buy or do whatever. So it's a case of making people know who you are and what your business is about. And we're talking about using Twitter for business. It's not about social chit chat. If you're using it, spending time on Twitter for business, you actually need to have your business hat on. So you need to make people know who that you're the right person that they want to speak to. Ultimately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. I see that Sophia's here. Hi, Sophia. Thanks for joining us. She's saying great advice. So we love getting feedback as we go through this. All right, let's look at question number 2. For businesses that are just starting out, what are the ways to attract the right customers with the right content?
Okay, you always have to put yourself in your customers' shoes. I was thinking viewpoint shoes. So when you write on Twitter, you're actually writing for your customer, not for yourself. So you've got to think about what type of content will be useful for them to read. What are they interested in? What are their problems? You don't have to write all the content yourself. By sharing other people's content, finding good articles and sharing it, you get associated with that information. And obviously you want to add a little bit of value, like something like this is worth reading. People will associate you with that without you even having to write anything.
Yeah, exactly. I see Jim just got here. He said, going back to when we're talking about the Twitter bio, he says, if you can write a sentence as your bio and hashtag 1 or 2 keywords, it'll look better and save space. So, yeah, that's a good. I like to use all 160 characters because I want to try to say everything. I can't even fit everything I do. I do too many things. So 160 is actually not enough for me. But I'm a fan of using all of that space. So anyway, we've already moved on to question number 2, and I actually question number 4. I loved your answer to this during the chat. So we have to talk about this one. Number 4 is, what is the difference between social selling and selling on social media?
Yeah, I think, I suppose somebody else said, which is actually quite nice, is that selling on social media is the short game. social selling is the longer game. So if you've got a higher value customer, you want to social sell because you want to build a relationship. It's about finding the right people, attracting the right people to you, and nurturing the relationship until people are ready to buy. Because people aren't necessarily in a buying mode when you meet them on Twitter. They're sort of going on a journey, and you want to be the trusted advisor who helps them along on their journey.
Right, exactly. So moving over to question number 5, and this was also a good one. What are some of the advantages of using Twitter for customer care?
Okay. Well, firstly, it's cheaper.
This is
Which
true.
depending on which company you're in, it will save you money. But I think the real thing is that it's in real time. You can talk to people. I love the fact that it's concise. So it's clear you're not spending too much time doing it. You can give people links to or videos to help answer their questions. But it's also there and it's in the public domain, which means that everybody can see how you're reacting to your customer. And especially the complaints, because people are always scared that people are going to complain. But if you can deal with a complaint in a good way, that customer is going to actually be more loyal than somebody who hasn't complained and just leaves. So it's really important to show how you deal with complaints, and doing it in the public domain means other people can see how you react to your customers, and ultimately, sort of like it's good for you. Also, if you're on Twitter, you'll also get positive testimonials, or testimonials as I like to call them. So people will say good things, and those are easy to share and easy to embed into your website. It gives you great social proof.
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, every time someone says something nice to me in a tweet, I always ask if I can use it as a testimonial. I've never had anyone say no, because who's going to say no, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really smart advice. Customers like to say nice things when they get great service, and I love that you can take that and embed it. Also, one of the many underutilized features on Twitter is the bookmark feature. And so I try to make a point of bookmarking those type of tweets because I might want to go look at it later. But unfortunately, it's only available for mobile, not desktop. So gotta love Twitter with these little features that are not well known, and
I
then
know there's certain features, like they don't seem to have come on board completely with Twitter lists, and there's so many ways they could make Twitter lists work better. And it's so frustrating that they've got something that's brilliant and they're not actually using it or making it easy to use. So,
right. I know it'd be nice if there was a way to do more organizing with it. That would be great. I mean, I love Twitter lists. I have tons of them, but they're not like it helps me organize on one hand, but when I go and look at them, it's just one long list, right? So I wish there was a way to maybe have master groups that you can kind of like the way with the iPhone, how we can take apps and put them all into like one thing, and like, okay, these are my productivity apps and these are my motivational apps, meditation, whatever. It'd be nice if lists had something like that.
yeah, so they don't make them that easy to search for or use in a particular way. It's not that easy to, yes, you can subscribe to other people's lists, but there's no quick and easy way to get people from one list onto another. So yeah, I think they could be doing a bit more with that, but we're diverting.
Yeah. All right. So we'll wrap this up with question number 7. And the question is, a small business puts a lot of effort into building conversations and offering great content to their connections. What is the best way of converting those connections to customers and taking the online relationship offline?
I think it's so easy to get lost in the niceness of chatting with people on social media. But if you're doing it as a business person, you actually need to make some sales, because otherwise you don't have a business. And if you see buying signals, you need to react to them. You can't wait a week or two, and hope that they will will remember what you do. You need to actually go, hey, can I help you with this? And often I'd suggest that you send them a DM, so it's private. But as I said in my tweet, not everybody reads the DM, so send them a tweet to say that you send them a DM so they can
Yep.
read.
I do that because I think you don't know if someone actively checks DMs, and so I'm in a pretty good habit of like I'll send a little tweet saying, "Hey, please check your DM." So that's
Yeah.
smart
But it was
advice.
also, if you've known somebody for a while, it's a good idea to actually have a conversation, a real life conversation, meet people for coffee, have a Skype call or Zoom call, just to get to know a little bit more about the business, so you can connect them. You may not be the right fit for them, but you probably know somebody who would work well with them or that you can recommend for them. So there's always a great reason to see, what synergy you can get out of those relationships. But you need to take it offline. You can't leave everything magically on social media and expect wonderful things to happen.
Right. I'm a big fan of Pat Flynn, and he talks about how he'll take his mailing list and randomly choose, I think it's just two people, I could be wrong, but two people every month and just invite them for a Skype call. And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, how smart is that? Like just every month, randomly choose people on your mailing list. I also heard of a lady a couple of years ago that did that on LinkedIn, where she would randomly choose people like every Friday. She would have a Skype chat with one of her LinkedIn connections, just a random connection to get to know them better. I think that's really smart.
Yeah, I think it's important to, because you make these connections and you can be flooded with so many connections and so many followers and whatever that you're not paying attention. And it's really just cherry picking a few. Obviously, LinkedIn is slightly different because you can, it doesn't have to be that random in terms of your connections. You can actually work out which people, which group of people that you want to make a connection with. But if you put people on a list, you can work your way through the list of having a conversation with people. Maybe you choose 5 people a week to have a chat to, or to send a personal tweet to. And see where it goes from that, because you never know. I've had business because I've contacted somebody out of the blue and said, shall we have a catch up? And I've ended up getting business out of it just because of the timing. And I would never have known. They probably wouldn't have, probably would have missed me by, if I hadn't have made that, let's have a chat and a catch up type of conversation with
I
no
love that.
intent at all. So it's all good. People, it's all about relationships ultimately.
It really is. I love it's such great advice. So yeah, I agree 100%. I think, something that we all could be doing more to like taking things. It's so easy to keep everything online. So take some of that online and put it offline. Very smart. Well, thanks so much, Nikki. I know it's late over there in England, and so I appreciate you being up late with us for the chat. What are the best ways for people to reach out? I'm going to post your Twitter on
Yeah.
here, so for sure Twitter. Where else can they connect with you?
Well, I'm Nicky Kriel everywhere, so you can Google me. But at Nicky Kriel, which you're going to put down as nickykriel.com, my website. Nicky Kriel on LinkedIn, Nicky Kriel on Facebook, Nicky Kriel on Instagram. I don't mind where people want to connect with me or how they want to connect with me, because I always think, some people are comfortable on Twitter, and then it's nice chatting to people on Twitter. Other people are happy on LinkedIn. So I'll chat to you wherever you want to chat to me. Just reach out and say hello. I'm friendly, I don't bite. Not always. Sometimes I can get a bit snappy.
Well, and I want to do a big thank you to you too, because I remember the first time I spoke at Social Media Marketing World years ago, you came out and saw me speak, and we met and talked a little bit. And I just thought that was so awesome. And so you have just been so supportive of me, and I really appreciate that.
Well, it's lovely to see exactly what you're doing, and I'm in awe of you after tonight. I have to say, I'm so with you. But it's lovely to see how you've grown a community, and that we're on the same page anyway in terms of Twitter and building relationships ultimately, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? So
Definitely. Definitely.
You're
Well,
very welcome, and thank you very much for inviting me. And I know I've got to do some interviews with you because, yeah, for my updated Twitter book, I think I know the person to ask about Twitter chats.
awesome. Yeah, let's do it. I would love to. I'd be honored. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, good night. Well,
Yep.
good afternoon, good evening to you.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week with Andrew and Pete. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's been this British invasion because let's see, last week we had Janet Murray, and then we had you, and then we're gonna have Andrew and Pete. And so we're kind of like having the British invasion. So this has been awesome.
Okay, well, taking over the world, except for actually, I'm not British, but that's another whole story. So,
Oh, really? Where are you
yeah,
from?
I'm originally from South Africa. And
Oh my gosh. So was our CEO of Managed Flitter,
uh,
Kevin Garber. He's in
ah,
Australia. The company is in Sydney, but he's from South Africa
yeah,
originally.
I'm from South Africa. I left South Africa with a backpack 28 years ago. Came
Wow.
okay, but I'm now sort of doing the backpack. Well, not quite backpacking, but I become a digital nomad, so I'm traveling around quite a lot. So I never know, might get to Australia as well.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that because it's always interesting hearing stuff about that. And do you blog about this like on your website, like the whole digital nomad thing?
I haven't because there's a number of things because I just became a digital nomad because I reached a certain birthday and my youngest son was finishing school, so it just was the right time. And then it was suddenly like, oh, okay, I hadn't really thought this through, but
Uh-huh.
I'm having an adventure. I had intended to blog, but I think I might need to vlog about it because it'll
Yeah.
be a lot quicker. Because like obviously when I'm writing, I've got training programs that are doing webinars that are preparing for it's all behind the scenes stuff. But I think probably it's just getting in front of the camera and giving a little bit by bit my experience of a slightly older digital nomad and the adventures of living out of your suitcase.
That would be awesome. I think that'd make for an awesome vlog. It could make for an awesome podcast as well.
Yeah, I think I sort of well. We'll see. I keep on saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to do
Yeah.
it. I keep on finding excuses. So
Just do it.
but I'll just do it.
That's
Yeah.
my motto. Just do it.
Anyhow, take care. We'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks, Nikki.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody. See you next week. Take care.